Alright guys, in progress update on an Easter Sunday. I have all of the sockets and pins removed from both of these boards. And it is 6:30, so I don't know. I've been at it since about noon maybe, so on and off, so probably a total of about 4 hours, maybe, I don't know, something like that. All of the sockets are removed and the pins. You can see, see the light behind there? And these guys. No broken traces whatsoever. I did it the tedious way, except for the ROM board. The ROM board was easier. This board, I picked and pulled every pin. Picked and pulled every pin and then used my gun and cleared them out. So, nothing broke. No broken traces, which is great. So, next thing to do is, I guess I'll wash these really good. No, actually, I'm just going to spray this with alcohol and kind of clean off the area that I'm working on. And heck, I don't know. They're kind of dusty. Maybe I'll just wash them. I don't know. Yeah, why not? I'll wash these boards really good, and then we'll move on. Oh, and it says program error. Okay, we had two bad ROMs. ROM 5 and 11 were bad, and the sound ROM was blank. And it just programmed, it didn't program right. So I'm gonna remove this, and let's grab a 2532. That 2532 that was in there in the soundboard was blank. It came up with no data. So let's do this. Let's put this guy in here. Okay. New device installed. Yes. And it's programming. See if it works this time. Damn it. The hell. I don't know. I don't know about this thing. I might have to break out the old Faithful over there. 29B. I don't know. This thing's just acting funny. I don't know. What a pain in the ass. Yeah, but we had two bad ROMs. The rest of them verified okay. And then this came up, this 2532 that was in the soundboard came up blank. But I'd like to actually test it in the other programmer and see, maybe this thing's just flaky, I don't know. So, to the other programmer. Okay, I got the 29B out. And this is the sound ROM that was in the board. And it was empty. And it did not verify. It didn't program right. So I'm going to have to grab, you know what? Where is that other guy? Let me look at this one. See if this thing did anything. Let's do a exit and... is this thing erased? Blank. It is blank. So let's try to program this guy. And we're going to try to program this chip here with that sound file. I'll be right back. It takes a little bit for this to do. So I'll be right back. Okay, and I was able, this guy has passed. As you can see, pass. So we now have a sound ROM, and this guy would not program, and it was blank, so it's garbage. So now we have a sound ROM. We have a whole software set now. That is good. So that is good. So moving on. I've put in the 40 pin sockets. Oops. I've done the 40 pin sockets. And I did the CPU socket, as you can see here. And that is all I'm doing tonight. I did that. And I verified all the software. I burnt what I had to burn. I've got a label here made for the sound ROM. I'll put that on there and turn everything off, and we will see you tomorrow. Hope everybody had a great Easter Sunday. Alright guys, I'm getting back into this guy here. And let me see. Okay, I'm probing around. I'm just out here probing busing drivers, right? Bus drivers. And it's this guy. These are all 367s. There's one here, there's one here, and there's one here. And they drive out the address bits. And they're always all enabled. So the enable pins are always low on them, and they just buffer. So what you see on the input should see on the output. And if you go through them, you can see like this guy looks pretty good. Right? Okay, looks good. This guy here. Looks pretty good. And then you get to this guy, it's enabled. Good, good. Input, output, always low. This output is always low. Input, output. In, out, in, out, in, out. And I have here a 367, which I've lifted the leg, but I'm going to show you how this behaves. This is a 367. I'm going to jump over it. Right. Okay. And we'll probe that pin 5, and you can see it's always low. Now if I take that and I lift pin 5, re-jump it, and I just probe the pin, you can see that it has the signal on it. But pin 5 of the chip itself is low all the time. So you know that you know, that's a little way of doing a comparator right there. This chip is no good. There's an address bit that is missing. It will not work like that. So we're going to have to replace this guy. Jumping it won't work. Jumping it does not work because it's always pulled low. It's pulling the jumped chip low too. So this just needs to be replaced. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I replaced both of these because I forget which one it was that was actually bad, so I just removed and replaced both of them. And I fired it up and it's come up, but it is shifted horizontally to the left. on the horizontal axis, it is shifted. And that is not a monitor adjustment. So, and another thing is this is incomplete, you see. That should be 0. There's a couple that are either not working from this chip, or this is burnout. It's probably this chip, I would imagine. We'll look at that later. The program and the game is running, but there's something wrong. And if I take, this is horizontal sync right here. So if I probe horizontal sync should be 15 kilohertz. And it's 61 kilohertz. 60. It's the same frequency as the... no, it's 60 hertz for... Yeah. Come on. 22. The sync isn't right. This should be 60. This should be 60 hertz, right? Vertical. Refresh. No, that's vertical blank. Yeah, I don't know. But this one, this horizontal sync line was 60 kilohertz. It should be 15 kilohertz. So I'm going to have to get the schematic out for this board and look at the sync chain, because something's not right on this sync chain. Horizontally, I believe, because it's shifted horizontally. And we'll look at what's causing that. So let's take a look. Okay, weird. So you guys clearly saw when I was looking at horizontal sync on this guy, it was saying 60 kilohertz, 62 kilohertz or something like that. But if I look at it with my good scope, it clearly says 15 kilohertz. Try to get a better angle. 15.7 kilohertz. So it was kind of dancing around there anyway. But what I did was I just hooked this up different. This is negative sync. I always thought Williams put out positive sync. I'm sure they do, don't they? But I hooked it to the other sync posts. You know how the G07 has, you know, it's got 3 separate that are for the negative sync. So I hooked to those and that fixed it. I always thought that Williams put out positive sync. Strange. Okay. Well, it's working. That works. This is still flaky, and I think it's just this, because it doesn't seem to be this guy. Okay, I removed the 7-segment display from the ROM board, and I accidentally removed the 7447 as well. I was not meaning to do that, and did it, so. But I wanted to go ahead and test this guy. And I do have the pinouts right here for it. So I'll set the camera up and we'll go through and test each one of these segments. And I believe there was 1, 2, or 3 of them that weren't working. I don't remember. So we'll see if this thing's burned out. Okay, so we're on the thing, and I've got 5 volts to it right now. And all I got to do is go with this resistor. This is a 390 ohm resistor. And we're just going from ground to the pins, because I've got 5 volts going to the anodes. So the top guy right here is pin 1, so we'll go pin 1 to ground, and you see pin 1 or segment A lights up. Let's do segment B, which is pin 10. So 8, 7, 8, 8, 9, 10. This thing is 14 pins, so yeah. I gotta. Okay. Yep. 10 should be that guy. 8, 9, 10. Okay, that according to this. According to this, this should be up here. It should be a different one. But who knows? That one is supposed to be pin 8. And it isn't, doesn't do anything. D is pin 6. And that is actually, this pinout isn't exactly right that I got, but that's the little decimal point. And then that one is that's pin 7. I need to mark these off. Let's do this. Okay. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'm gonna start marking these off. I'll circle when they light up. Okay. Next, this one was this one. That's nothing. Nothing. All right. Nothing. Nothing. That one lights up. Nothing. Nothing. That one lights up. Okay. Let's try pin 1. Alright, that one lights up. And let's try pin 2. Nothing. Pin 2 has nothing. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so all we were getting this thing's no good. It's got burned out LEDs in it. So that's why it wasn't lighting up. And I don't have any of these. So I am going to leave it. I'm going to leave it out. And gosh, I thought I had some of these at one point. I'm going to look around and see if I can find some of these. I don't think I'll be able to, but it would be nice. But this is the problem. But I'm going to put the 7447 back in. I'm going to put a new one in. And I'll see if I can't find one of these. So let me get to that. All right. Now this thing seems to be acting correctly. And I got the whole board set hooked up. Now it doesn't have that LED in it, but the way this should be, to be displaying a 0, is all of them should be low except for one. And this is open collector, so it doesn't drive high, so it floats. So you have low, and this is G. This is the G segment. That's the middle segment, and it's floating, which means it is turned off. The only way they turn on is if this is low. So this is now working correctly. It just needs a 7-segment display. I'll go ahead and cycle the power so that you can hear the sound. Good to go. That is going to do it for this one, guys. I'll let this thing sit on the bench and run for a handful of hours. Make sure it's going to be solid. Kind of play around with the controls a bit. Actually, I think I should do that now. I'm going to look up the pinout and just play around with these controls. Make sure this thing's working right. Okay, so I have the thing turned on and running. And we're just going to we're going to do a little bit of testing of the widget board, little controller board, and that kind of stuff. Okay. So I've got this here, which is my ROM board coin door interface, which has the coins on it. So I'm going to hit advance. Why not? Advance is number 2, which is over here. It says all ROMs okay. And it's just doing the rug pattern over and over and over. No RAM errors. No CMOS RAM errors. Color RAM. Bookkeeping. And we went through the advanced stuff. Alright, so let's go and do... And you know what? I did put the original ROMs back in. The 2 that I had burnt. You remember I burnt 2 ROMs for this? Out of just curiosity, I put the original 2 ROMs back in it, thinking that maybe I got a bad ROM dump or something, and I put them in and it works. And you see it just tested and said all ROMs okay. So, yeah, I don't know. All of the ROMs were fine. So, which is cool. It's got all of the original Blue Label ROMs on it, which is good. Alright, so we're going to coin this thing up. We're going to go, looks like 3, 5, and 6. 3. That's all the coins. 3 coins. Okay, and then 1 player start is and 5 of this one. Okay. Up. Up. Down. Left. Right. Okay. And then fire left is pin 1. Fire up is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Player 1 start. Let's do player 2 start, which is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Fire up is 7. Up. And this is going to be fire right. Yep. All of the controls work. The move left, move all around, and fire all around works. Coin start works. Everything works. So that's it. We're all verified good. So we've got new 4164 RAM on it. New sockets. These are new 4164. The bottom of the board has been modified so that you can plug your original. You don't need no adapter. You just plug that in and it's good to go. Right from the cabinet. It needs a 7-segment display because the one, I'll send this one back, but this one's no good. It's got burned out LEDs in it. Yeah, so good to go. Robotron. Such a cool game. Alright guys, I'm going to let this one sit here and run for about 3 hours, 3-4 hours. And we're going to call it good. Yeah, the main problem with this board, you remember, was the address bus chip was no good. So that's really all that was wrong with it. So, alright. We'll let this one run for a while and call it good. And get that FPGA thing out of this game and get the original stuff back in it. Because there is nothing like the original hardware. So, makes me happy. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next repair.